Global War 36 enthusiast here with Operation From Russia with Love, turn 9.5, Commonwealth. It is July 1940. I have 2 tech rolls with Great Britain. First, I tried for anti-submarine warfare to 7 or higher. PBE generated an 8, so I succeeded. Advanced to stage 3. Second, I tried for improved construction at a 7 or higher. PBE generated a 1, so I failed. Purchases. Great Britain has 30 IPP to spend. I'll purchase 1 militia for 2, 2 Marines for 8, that's 10, 1 artillery for 4, that's 14, 1 fighter for 10, that's 24. I'll lend-lease a medium armor to the USSR for 6, bringing my total to 30 IPP. For FEC, I have 16 IPPs to spend. I'll purchase 3 militia for 6, 1 anti-aircraft artillery for 4, that's 10. I will complete construction of the fortification in Calcutta for 5, that's 15, and I'll save 1 IPP. For Anzac, I have 9 IPP to spend. I'll purchase 2 militia for 4 and upgrade the minor shipyard in Sydney for 5. That's 9 total. Okay, combat movement. First, I have a combat move right here in C-Zone I-12. Anzac will move 1 naval transport into that C-Zone, and Panzer J has the opportunity to declare war. I haven't heard back from him, but I'm 99.99% sure he will not declare war. Makes absolutely no sense because he'd lose his surprise attack and he might bring America into the war. But if he wants to change his mind, I will retroactively allow that declaration of war and that transport will just die. But if he doesn't declare war on me, then I'll pick up 2 infantry. I'm gonna ship this out just a second. Oh, everything was so nice and pretty. So I'll pick up the 2 infantry there from British Malaya and carry them into C-Zone I-1, drop them off in Bengal, and then go in port here in Calcutta. Okay, next combat move is something I had to go over with a board gaming bro, and I did reach him. This naval transport here in Lower Egypt goes into, leaves port into C-Zone M8. He had the opportunity to declare war, he declined. Now the naval transport moves over to M4. Again, he has the opportunity to declare war, he declined. So now it's gonna move over to M2, and it will go in port here in Gibraltar. Okay, and that concludes the 9.1 stuff that I had to communicate with my opponents before moving. Just a quick comment about that. The veteran was wondering if you can take back those moves, and I just want to reiterate, as I did, and I think it was turn 5, when I tell, say, a board gaming bro that I'm moving this naval transport into the C-Zone here with his submarines, if at that point I can't go back, I'm forcing him to make a decision, and he's making that decision based on the move not being retroactive. You can't go back and undo it. So no, you are stuck. If you make a move and someone decides if they're going to declare war or not, you can't take that move back. So anyway, I just wanted to clear that up. You can move other units in because it's a combat movement phase. You can continue doing your movement. Like I've done my 9.1 stuff, and now I'm going to do other combat movement. You're not precluded from doing further movement. You just can't undo the moves that you've committed to because people made decisions. Like Board Gaming Bro is making that decision about whether or not he wants to declare war. Anyway, okay, let's go on with our other combat moves. Okay, C-Zone, let's see, A7. Let's unzoom here. And we remember A7 every turn. I'm hitting off Norway. I'm going to do convoy rating of this line here in A7 with 2 submarines. And then in Sea Zone 18, there's that Anzac light cruiser that's on escort duty. It's going to come off escort duty and move 1, 2, wait. Oh, no, I can't make it. I'm in 18. Oh. Well, I have to, I did with, or like a board gaming bro did. I'm going to have to make a audible on the fly. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Nope, I can't make that. He's just going to wait till non-combat. I'll wait till non-combat to do something with him. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with him. I think... Yeah, it's hard when I've got all these complicated plans. What I'm thinking about is that Panzer J could take Anzac out next turn, so I wanted to have that guy in a position where he could basically sacrifice himself. Oh, no. I did do it right. He can move 4 because I have a major port right here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I get to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm moving down there to A44. What else do we have to do? From Sea Zone A20, 1 fighter will come off this light carrier here and fly 1, 2, 3. So it only has a move of 1 left here in Sea Zone A44. Then let's go down because I can't see what was happening there. Then in A27, this fighter that's on the light carrier is going to fly down 1, 2, so it has a range of 2 left. It's in A44 as well. This tactical bomber has a range of 4. It hasn't moved. In A46, this Anzac, you can't see that, A46 is right down here. This Anzac destroyer will move up to A44. In Gibraltar, this coastal defense ship will leave port and join these other ships here. In southern England, a naval transport, that might be on camera, yeah, right at the very top there. This naval transport from southern England will leave port to A21. It'll pick up 1 infantry. These are infantry. And it'll move down 1, 2, 3 to A44. It's hanging out there in A44 with an infantry. Let's go over to Yugoslavia. In eastern Yugoslavia, 1 cavalry will move into Hungary. And that's worth 2. Germany goes down 45. Great Britain goes up to 30. Then let's go down to way down here. If I gotta rotate this down so we can see what's going on. Here in Africa. I don't know if we can get that. So sorry, I have to rotate this more. That'll solve our problem. Okay, over here in Madagascar, there's that seaplane, and it's gonna go 1, 2 onto map right there in Sea Zone A54 and try to hit the sub. I only have a 1, 2, or 3, but take every chance I get to try to eliminate those pesky subs. Okay, at this point, the Commonwealth declares war on Vichy France. So every territory that is Vichy is gonna go German. So let's set those up. Down here in the center of Africa, there's these 5 territories. And then up here in the north of Africa, another 5 territories. Then there's Syria over here. That brings us 11 territories. And then there's 2 in France. There's Corsica and southern France. They become German. And after this, I will make everything. I'll get all the German pieces, but I want to move Germany up 6 to 51. Vichy is no more. It's aligned now with Germany. These ships are German. The transport's German. All this stuff will be German. I didn't want to waste your guys' time with that. And down here, I'm going to move this British infantry from Belgian Congo into Cameroon. That will take Great Britain up 1 and Germany down 1. So Germany's at 50, Great Britain's at 31. And then I'm going to divide my forces here in A44 into a screening force and a continuing force. My continuing force is the light carrier and this transport carrying an infantry. My screening force is the planes and the 2 light cruisers, 3 destroyers, and coastal defense ship. Note that the only one of these planes that can be on map is this tactical bomber, because it started there. It hasn't flown. It's within its map range, and it can pair with 1 destroyer. It's going to pair with the Anzac destroyer. So I need to roll my destroyers separately so I know which one of them was capable of hitting that German sub. All those units are German. So let's do some combat. Just want to double check if there's anything I'm missing. No, I don't think so. Okay, so let's start off. Let's get over here to the dice tray and zoom in. I think that's capturing pretty much everything. All right, let's start off with our 2 convoy raids. So the red is the attacker. I get a +2 to gain a sub. That's neutral, no damage. Second roll, I do max damage at 2 points to ham bone. Germany goes down 2 IPP. So I have Germany at 57. All right. Next combat is going to be the battle in A44. So I've kind of set up the board a little bit. I've got this Anzac destroyer turned sideways to remind me. Hopefully that I'll remember to roll the dice differently or roll them separately from the other 4s. So why don't we start with the tactical bomber at 7. Miss. Ugh. Okay, and then I've got 1 at 4 for the Anzac destroyer. Okay, so I can have 1 of the hits. We'll see if there's enough, but 1 of the hits could be applied to the sub. Otherwise, he could just, let's say I get 4 hits now, or 3 hits, then he has to take the sub as a casualty. Otherwise, if I didn't get a hit with 1 of those, he could have said, no, I'm not going to take the hit on the sub. All right, so I've got 2 at 5, or 2 at 6 with my 2 fighters. Hopefully 1 of those will hit. 1 did, and then I've got 2 light cruisers at 5. Hopefully 1 of these will hit, and then it'll be over. Nope. So there's a chance. I think I've got 3 at 4. I've got the coastal defense ship, which interestingly in version 4 attacks at a 4, where It used to attack and defend at a 6, but now it defends at a 6 and only attacks at a 4. So I want one of these 3 to hit. That's statistically what should happen. Okay, great. So I got 3 hits. Let's see how much damage I take. And I'm thinking of applying it to the Anzac stuff if he does hit. So it's funny how when you know you're gonna lose the Anzac, you kind of get frisky. You're like, well, I might as well go for it. So I've got an orange die is at 3, the yellow die is at 4, and the green die is at 5. It just matches the colors that's on the ships there. And he did get a hit. He got a hit with his light cruiser. If he had rolled a 1, 2, or 3, I just thought about this. Ouch, I had not factored in. He could have hit a plane. Ooh, I hadn't thought about that. But no, he rolled a 4 with his light cruiser, so he gets 1 hit, and I am going to take it on the Anzac. Well, yeah, I'll take it on the Anzac destroyer. I was thinking about taking on the coastal defense ship, but Anzac is probably not long for the world. So I'm going to take the pieces off the board while I can. All right, what other combat do we have? Let's see. The only other combat that I have listed here is my amphibious assault. So we don't really have any more dice to roll. Let's go back to here. In the French Morocco, remember I had the continuing force. I'm going to drop off this infantry here in French Morocco. And let's see, I don't know if I go into port now at the end of the combat movement phase. I want this guy to go into port. If I have to wait till non-combat, let me know. I'm pretty sure I can do that, but let me know if I'm not allowed to do that, but I think that's fine. All right, we're now ready to proceed. Oh, wait, I went up there. I got to go up 1 for the British and down 1 for the Germans. So I have the Germans at 49, and I have Great Britain at 32. All right, non-combat. We definitely need to zoom out here. Okay. We're going to have, from A20 here, these guys are going to move over 1 space because Hambone is, I think he's on the verge of long-range aircraft. He could get long-range aircraft, and with his aircraft there in Paris, it's very dangerous for me because he could bring a bunch of subs to hit my carrier task force. He could go 1, 2, 3, hit me, 4, 5, and get back 4, 5, 6. But now I don't think he can make it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and how does he get back? So 1, 2, 3, 4, same thing. 5, 6, can't quite make it back. So I think my fleets my carrier task forces here are safe in this configuration, somewhat safe. And now I've got this tack has a range, is that on camera? Yep, it has a range of 4. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3 and land on this light carrier up here in A20. And the fighter that has the range of 2, it actually came from this carrier. It's going to go back to that carrier. 1, 2. All right. Okay. I think that kind of, the fighter that's here in A44 will land on the carrier that's there, and we're done with these fleet dice, or these fuel dice. I'm gonna have that guy go back in port. Let me think about this for a second. I like what a board gaming bro said about calling an audible. I'm going to call an audible. This fighter's going to land in Gibraltar. All these guys are going to go into port. That's what's going to happen. Now there's 2 naval transports there that started the turn there. They haven't moved. But all those ships go into port. All right. Oh boy, I'm really excited about this next part of the game. So just in general, I think typically you will see Germany on average go into France around turn 7. And so what that means is that the Germans will typically have a whole bunch of money to spend at the start of turn 8. And what do they like to do? They love to buy aircraft, at least if you're Panzer-J, and seemingly if you're ham-boned, you just love to buy aircraft. Aircraft is a good purchase on turn 8 because you can threaten England for a turn while you're doing things like absorbing Yugoslavia and preparing, moving your forces over towards Russia, and then your aircraft can rapidly move over there. So I think that typically on turn 9, you're going to want to employ the Porcupine, the turn 9 Porcupine. So let's commence. Let's see what that looks like. Unveil it to you. From northern England, 2 militia and 1 infantry will move into southern England. From London, 1 infantry, 1 airborne infantry, 2 marines, and an air transport. And this anti-aircraft gun will all move into southern England. So let's see, we got 2, 4, we've got 6 militia in southern England. I'm going to put this task force marker here as our 1. And then I know there's this chip here, I'm saving it for this infantry. And then we have only 4 infantry, 2 marines, an airborne infantry, and looks like 2 anti-aircraft artillery. And this air transport. Okay. Then, from southern England, 1 fighter will fly to A23 and go on map. And 1 fighter from southern England will fly to A22 and go on map. And then this torpedo boat destroyer in A23 will go in port. All right, so let's take a look at what this does for us. So by having 1 fighter here in A23, 1 fighter in A22, A21 in A23, and 1 in southern England, aircraft cannot fly to London right now. So one really neat thing, if I didn't have this, is Germany could send 1 of his strategic bombers and hit my airbase, and bring enough fighters to make sure he could hit my airbase, and then whatever I had in London couldn't scramble to southern England, or he could do the vice versa scenario. So by doing this, yes, he can decide he wants to come out and hit 1 of these fighters. And if he brings his whole entire force, he will destroy my fighter, and I will only be able to have a 50-50 chance of hitting him. So it's like the ultimate strategic bombing mission for Hambone. He gets to kill 10, and only he has a 50-50 chance of losing 10 himself, so basically that's kind of like losing 5. But by doing the Porcupine, you definitely protect your capital, and if America lend-leases me a fighter every turn, I can sustain this and basically make it impossible for him to go after London. He can definitely, I'm giving away Scotland, Northern England, he could paradrop on them if he wants to amphibiously assault. He can do that, and there's nothing I can do to stop him from doing that. If he wants to go all out for England, basically I have to yield it. But this is the best way you can defend England in the short term from an aerial campaign. Okay, enough blathering on and on. let's go down to, we've got some moves down in Gibraltar. So I'm going to take the 2 naval transports that didn't move. They'll come out of port, and they're going to use strategic naval movement to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and they'll go in port in London. If I don't stay in, like I normally like to keep my naval units, naval transports here in southern England so they can go into A21 and get down to Gibraltar in one go. But if I do that, he can nuke me with his massive air force. So I have to bow and scrape and admit that I'm in a very tenuous position right now. Okay. Let's go down over here to M5. This torpedo boat destroyer, I am so sorry. I should have moved this through here during combat movement and asked aboard Gaming Bro if he wanted to declare war on me. I think the right thing to do is I should have put this. I did have it written down. It's kind of like the marked rule from, but it involves asking aboard Gaming Bro. I think it's one thing to have it written down, but it's another thing to not ask. I think the right thing to do is, I was going to move it to Malta. I think I'm just going to leave it there and sacrifice, because I did not ask him if I could move that through. All right, from Lower Egypt, 2 infantry and 1 artillery will move into, how am I doing this? Yeah, 2 infantry, there we go. Okay, 2 infantry, that's just infantry there, and 1 artillery are moving into Transjordan. And then down from Cape Town, I'm not going to rotate the camera down, another artillery piece is going to rail up to Transjordan. So let me do a switcheroo here. One of these is 2 infantry and 1 is 2 artillery in Transjordan. All right. From C-Zone A54, yeah, I do need to rotate that down. The seaplane 54 is, oh, I forgot to roll that. I have to roll that seaplane map. So I do need to rotate this down anyway to do that. Combat. All right, so it's basically I just have 1 roll at a 3. Come on. Nope. Okay, so that seaplane, it's going to land in southwest Africa. I'll see if I can rotate that around. Show folks. There we go. Okay. Next is India. Oh, I somehow flipped this. Okay. So sorry. India. Okay, southern India. 2 infantry are going to move, and an anti-aircraft artillery will move into Calcutta. In C-Zone I-7, the battle cruiser and 5 heavy cruisers and the destroyer will move into I-5 and go in port here in Lower Egypt. It's funny, Hambone, you were saying you'll never get used to it, but I've already kind of, I've drank the Kool-Aid, my friend, and now I'm getting used to Lower Egypt. Okay, in Calcutta, 1 anti-aircraft there were 2 here, is going to go into Bengal. And then from Burma, zoom in a little bit. From Burma, I'm going to run away because he's got he's got his surprise attack if he decides to attack me next turn, and I'd be adjacent to him. So I'm going to back away to Bengal with everything except an Anzac infantry. So Burma has 1 Anzac infantry, and in Bengal I have 7 British infantry, 2 Anzac infantry, 3 Gurkhas, 2 Anzac artillery, anti-aircraft artillery. No, 2 Anzac artillery, 3 anti-aircraft artillery. Sorry for misspeaking there, causing confusion. All right. I do believe that is all my movement. Is there anything I'm missing? No, I think that's it. Okay. Placement of units. So, Anzac. In Anzac, I'm going to upgrade that shipyard from a minor shipyard to a major shipyard. That's Melbourne. I'm so sorry, I forgot my friend from Australia who's watching from Adelaide. Taught me that this is Adelaide. My wife's grandmother's name. So I've got 2 militia, and they're going to go into Sydney. So that, I'll do my disposition later. Although I should probably do it while I'm down here. While we can see, I've got 5 militia, 3 infantry, and a fortification in Sydney. All right, then let's go over to FEC. Oh, we've got them on camera there. They're up here. I'm going to put 1 more anti-aircraft artillery here in Calcutta. So that brings us up to 3 there. I'm going to complete the fortification. And I'm going to put in 3 militia. All right. I save 1 with them. Next, I've got Cape Town. I'm going to build, in Cape Town, I'm going to build an artillery. And then up in London, I'm going to place 2 Marines and a fighter in London. That means I have 4 fighters in London. And then I'm going to place a militia in southern England. That brings us up to 7 militia in southern England. Respect, Hambone. Okay. So I've got the Lend-Lease of the Soviet medium armor. It will be built in northern England. It'll go up to Scotland, embark. Then it will travel up to Sea Zone A9 and then down through the Baltic White Sea Canal. You can send Lend-Lease through the Baltic White Sea Canal. Earlier in the game, we tried to send a torpedo boat destroyer, but it turns out you can only send subs and Lend-Lease through here to Leningrad. That's where it will debark, in the port of Leningrad. I can't, so you name your starting port and your stopping ports, and then find the shortest path between them. I cannot travel through the Danish Straits because they're closed, so this is the shortest path. All right, collect income. Great Britain should be at 32. Yep, 32 plus 3 for Lower Egypt. Plus 2, Iran is neutral. So that brings me up to 37. And then FEC collects 14 plus 2 for Aden and Lower Egypt. That's 16. They had 1 saved, so they end the turn with 17. And then Anzac, that they collect 7 plus 2. They have 9 IPP. All right, that was a long turn, but France's turn will be quick. We now start turn 9.6. I have 1 IPP to spend. I purchase nothing and save 1. Combat movement from French Sudan. This 1 infantry is going to move over here and capture Niger. And I'll get a marker for that later. It's not worth any money. Non-combat movement. Up there in England, there's a destroyer that would get massacred if I leave it there. So he's going to go into port in London, join the rest of the ships there. Then let's look at this submarine. The French submarine is going to travel towards the action. It's going to go 1, 2, 3 to I-13. Placement of units, none. Collect income. I get to collect 1. And so now I end the turn with the Free French with 2 IPP. All right, I think it's important to do a disposition of units, even though this turn is going 36 minutes. That's pretty, seems like it's not a lot of action, but there's a lot of potential danger. I mean, there's so many different battles where I could get hit with a surprise attack, and I'm just trying to protect myself. So sorry for taking forever and wanting to do this very carefully, so my allies, or not my allies, my opponents know where my units are should they want to attack. In C-Zone A23, I have 1 fighter on map. In C-Zone A22, I have 1 fighter on map. In southern England, I have 7 militia, 4 infantry, 1 airborne infantry, 2 marines, 2 anti-aircraft artillery, an air transport, and a fighter. In London, I have 2 marines, 4 fighters. In London, in port, I have 3 battleships, 1 destroyer, 2 naval transports. In C-Zone I-20, I have 1 light carrier, 1 tactical, 1 light cruiser, 2 destroyers. In C-Zone A-27, I have 1 light carrier, 1 fighter, 3 destroyers. In port, well, just in Gibraltar, I've got 1 militia, 3 infantry, a mountain, a French medium bomber, and a fighter. In port, I've got a light carrier, a light cruiser, that's Anzac, a British light cruiser, 2 British destroyers, a coastal defense ship, and 2 naval transports. In Cameroon, I have 1 British infantry. In Southwest Africa, I have 1 seaplane. In Cape Town, I have 1 artillery. In South Africa, I have a militia. All right, I still got the torpedo boat destroyer in Adriatic. That was dumb of me. So 1 in Lower Egypt, 1 militia, 8 infantry, 1 anti-aircraft artillery, and a half completed fortification. In port there, I've got a battle cruiser, 5 heavy cruisers, and a destroyer. In Transjordan, I have 2 infantry and 2 artillery. In southern India and Ceylon, I have 1 militia each. In Calcutta, I have 7 infantry, 3 militia, 1 motorized infantry, 3 anti-aircraft artillery, a fortification, and an Anzac naval transport in port. In Bengal, I have 7 infantry, 2 Anzac infantry, 3 Gurkhas, 2 Anzac artillery, 3 anti-aircraft artillery. In Burma, I have an Anzac infantry, and I already went over what I have down in Sydney. I do believe that concludes my turn. Next up is a Board Gaming Bro with turn 9.7, Italy.